Hello, it is February 8th. Good morning, everyone. I'm going to mute everybody for the first part, and then we'll unmute yourself later. Hello, Don. You said you woke up with a question this morning.
Did I really? Yeah. I wondered how we doing so far. I thought we might go over it to make sure everybody's on the same page. If there's any questions, we can talk about it. I did put up something on my FaceTop here. Here it is.
All right, so I will help you.
I'd like you all to have it. Maybe this will be our homework. Can you see that?
Yes, everyone can see it.
Everybody?
Mhm.
Well, I took 15 of the innumerable irrational fractions that exist in the world. And these are sort of the popular ones. But what I did was I just took the first 9 digits of it. Of course, they go on forever. You could take it anywhere you wanted to. 999, 99, how many you can get on the computer, and then play them all as a great symphony that never ends. And that would be like Sisyphus, pushing the rock forever and ever and ever and ever in a way. However, the first thing that we do, for instance, Bohr radius. And this is nice, isn't it? Because it also gives us a chance to research what the heck is Bohr radius. And then we can put down, well, this is what it says about Bohr radius. And here's the sheet music. And it starts out with a 0.529177720, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I just took them, and you notice that I put 6 there because I was curious about what the numerology was of it. So I added 5 into a 7, 9, 16, 17, 1, 7, 8, 7, 56, and 7, 30, 1, 34, and 2, 6. And so I added each of the numerals up like a numerology. And of course, if we went on with it longer, that number would change depending upon which of the numbers show up in this never-ending irrational fraction. So we could go on forever. But I thought, well, for the sake of a music composition, maybe if we just took the first of them and wrote the melodic score to this here. Does everybody know how to do that now? Anybody who doesn't? No. All right. Morgan, if you take the alphabet, let's say in English, but also you could take the alphabet, couldn't you, in any other language? And the numbers of the alphabet, like we have 26 in English for alphabet. So it can go like that. But in another language, it might go to 30, it might go to less or more. But you would use in translating this into the number that goes with your alphabet of a particular language. In this case, it's English. So 1 is a good number to start out with. Why? Well, we say, well, 1 is the original do in do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Then your do is your first note, like this here. In this case, it happens to be classically number 1. And why do we start with 1 like that? Well, because if you double it, you get up to the middle of the keyboard of the piano, which is where we do all our singing, and we get to a C at that particular time. So this is how we increase it like that. So let's take Bohr radius down. O and dot that's up to you. This is where we can personalize it. We can use a dot for maybe no overtones, or in the O could be on the edge of the gong. We could designate that, or we could do say O is a flute, and that would be there, or a bowl, whatever you wish. That would be your design. So if it's O is O, let's pause. 5 to 9, what notes would that be? What would 5 be? We're doing it in English. So it's
E.
A is
E.
1, B. Does
E.
everybody agree?
Go through it.
Okay. So A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, E is 5, F is 6, G is 7, H is 8, and I is 9. So that's the 9. And 9 happens to be what? The minor 6, the line of least resistance, greatest strength, etc. So that's the number 9. So that's the fundamental. And then to get to the next one, we have to go back to 10 would be 1 again. And we list all of them across. And I think we have a printout of that, don't we, on the...
Yeah, they all have it.
You have that one, you can see it in front of your own eyes. So this is the formula. So you could write down now the melodic line of the bore radius, at least the first 9 digits of it, to see what kind of a melody you would have to work with. And of course, an easy way, of course, is to do it on the piano keys, and then you could hear it, and you can decide, oh, that sounded pretty good, but it needs a pause here and a pause there. You could dress it up like a Christmas tree and make a beautiful symphonic riff, we call it, RIFF. And the difficult part of it is right up ahead, because now you're going to say, well, look, this is the melody. Da, dee, dee, da, 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 da. That could be the melody of the, just like that. But what universal saying, what axiom, what can I say there that would fit that particular melody? This is the hard part. But once you decide, well, I'm going to say every day is a special day, that's my lyric for that, then I would be able to write it down. I could share it with somebody else, and they could do their version of it as well. I'm wondering if that doesn't make sense. Are we okay with that?
Yeah, you can ask them to unmute themselves and
Okay.
respond.
If you please unmute yourself if you want to talk.
I just had a question about if you get to 9, what will you use? Because obviously there's no I on the music scale.
Yeah, I need to have the sound louder.
Okay, so yeah, see if you can get your sound a little bit stronger
Is that better?
for Doc. Much better.
Oh, that's
Okay,
good.
sorry.
Okay, she's a little confused between when you allocate notes to the numbers versus when you allocate letters to the alphabet. I think that's the confusion.
What would you tell her?
Well, so what she's asking, when you were going through it and you were designating the letters.
Well, one is A. We're doing the alphabet, the 26 letters of the alphabet in sequence, and they go to 26. Yeah. So now we have the numbers and the letters. We can exchange them, and then
I think my specific question was for 8 and 9, they get, H and I. Do we just then use a different instrument or create?
And the 8 would be a G and the 9 would be a G sharp.
Ah, okay.
And then because we're doing 12 half steps, we have to, it changes as we go up the scale. You have it there in front of
I'm going to bring it up on the screen so we can look
Sorry,
at it
I
again.
had a question about this, if you don't mind. So if you have a 0, what would you attribute to it? When I was doing my score, I attributed just a rest. Is there anything that you would attribute when you have a 0 in the digits?
Well, you might designate a bowl for the O, so that every time that you hear a bowl sound, we know it's an O.
But what if you're playing on the keyboard? I mean, like when you're doing it on the keyboard, when you're wanting to play it on the piano.
If I may,
Yes.
to say, I use for note A 0. It looks fine for listening, but if I may do that. It's nice when you represent numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, and then 0. So 0 can be note A.
Yeah, but A is already the sorry.
No, A.
No, actually,
note.
sorry, it's a C.
Not letter, note.
Oh, okay.
So what Bernard is saying is she moves on so that when she wants to complete the scale,
Yeah.
she's using for 10, A, which would be 1, 1, 0, which would turn into 1.
Yeah.
So
right.
so basically you continued on with the scale, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. So A is 10, which is the 1.
Okay, so the 0 could be A then. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. That's great. Thank you, Bernardo.
Thank you. Oh.
0 could be A. Well, all right. So there we go. So you can do your name. Let's say you wanted to play your name. Well, we have different names, don't we? I have Don Conreaux. I have Donald J. Conreaux. I have Donald Jean Conreaux. I have so different ways that I do my name. But each time I end up with a variation on the melody, and you can do the same thing, and you can find out the music in your name by using that in order to say Y, Yael. Y is a 7. Yeah, you can see that on there. Of course, G and P are also a 7 too. So, but she's saying takes the Y because she's using it, and then she has an A, and then an E, 5, like that. So she would have Yael would be, that would be her melody. I guess, how would you sing Yael to that melody would be the next question. Yeah, or it starts high. Yeah.
You could play it on the keyboard.
Yeah, you'd have to play it on the keyboard, wouldn't you, to figure out. And you could say whatever you want on that. So this is phi. Right. If we go back now to the other thing that we had up there, you know, the it is.
We'll do your share.
Yeah. Yeah. So here we go. So this is sort of the challenge, I suppose. It is a bit of a challenge, but it will help us to grow our higher third eye, our ability to make analogies and to create music because all the world is music. Now this is our way we can create music out of the irrational fractions that nobody really has any, what do they care about them? You know, what do you do with these irrational fractions? But they're very good for number 9, number 9, number 9, because we can now use them to make a score with. All right, so here's the score. And it goes, bore radius is the first phrase. The second phrase would be the electric volt and elementary charge. And the third one would be the atomic mass unit. So if you strung those together like pearls on a string, you would then have your begins with O, which could be just hitting whatever you want or blowing a conch or whatever or nothing. And then it goes all the way to Faraday constant number 9, and it ends with 9, 6, 4, 8, 5, 3, 4, 1, 5. And so your composition, your orchestration, everything would be lying latent inside of these irrational fractions. So your great orchestration that you're making for yourself with lyrics or aphorisms would start with the bore radius and go all the way through Faraday's constant. It would be a grand gong symphony, wouldn't it? When you think about what the possibilities are that you could put your own brand on. So this is the mystery, and this is the assignment. And the only other thing I could say would be good luck. You know, isn't it a challenge? In order to connect the synapses of your higher third eye, by going into this, is that you're keeping your brain developing in a way simultaneously with the physical brain or of the computer. So this is our way of going into new territory and discovering what is there, what beauty lies in here. Oh, you can divide it up into however you like. Sometimes I read it like if I take bore radius, I go, oh, point 529 1 7 7 2 0, and I would see what's there. Of course, you could change it anytime you wanted to, but it would be like tapping into the spontaneity, the inspiration of that moment, just like when you're playing the gong. So, 2 ways. We can do it with bell bowls, each having a different note. 9 bell bowls, each having a different note, so that whenever you see the number there, you know which bowl to hit. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in our tempered music system like on a piano or keyboard. It's just organically thereabouts in that region. And because they are living tones, they will actually then propagate into the acoustic space as they merge together, create baby children tones, summation and reduction tones. And those add to the gong-like effect of that. So we can do it on the keyboard, play the melody like that, or we can put the Enneagram over the face of our gong, which we have. And then it simply means that I'll strike the gong at 5291776. It's a totally different simultaneous reality that you've created musically, because there are no spaces between the notes on a gong as they are on a keyboard. So you have 2 different kinds of music sort of interbreeding together. A lot of possibilities for the creative consciousness of the higher third eye to develop as you create something out of this. Well, that's a challenge. What do you think? It's worth tackling, yeah? The great mystery. What lies in wait in these numbers? 9, of course, is so we have our things. We know 9 is a G sharp, yeah? And we know that 6 is a C, C sharp D, D sharp E is an F. So we have the tools that we need to discover the hidden melody in it. Are we all okay on the same page now?
I think so, but let's open it up to the floor.
Yeah, let's open it up because that's sort of like, what are we going to do with this? If we were going to do a great gong orchestra on stage with hundreds of people out there, and there's going to be 15 of us all on stage, each playing a gong, a number 9 gong each. I would play the Boer gong, you would do the Deuteron mass gong, everybody would have their own of these universal irrational constants to play. And as we play, of course, if we're playing very softly, we're able to hear the chemistry a little bit better. As we gain an amplitude, all of a sudden what happens is that it becomes totally just a wall of silence, like Pink Floyd in The Wall. We create a huge wall of sound with no spaces between the tones. And at this time, we do a flip-flop. We do an inside, outside, outside, inside. We then begin to listen to the inner melody of the spheres, which are beyond the linear high note, low note. It'll all merge into one. And this is the telephonic resonance that is like what develops this higher third eye mind. I hope I explained that okay. And it's so important for you to try to explain it to one of your students as well in order to know it more and more. All right, so has anybody done what Yael is doing now?
Well, what I wanted to add to what we already had on, I'm going to share my screen now.
Okay.
So basically, I'm just adding this and I'll put it on the site is, hold on, let me share. So this is the one that you guys currently have, the Gong code. And then what I put here on the bottom is what Bernardo was talking about, yes, which is just accommodating the whole octave. Apparently I spelled accommodate wrong, but I'll change that. So that way you can, if you're using the whole scale, you can definitely do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But should we talk a little bit, is anyone able to get on the site and choose an irrational fraction? And if so, are you prepared to share your irrational fraction and a little bit about it? Yes, Anna says she's nodding, and then Morgan is next. So we'll do Anna, Morgan, and then we'll go from there.
Hi there. Okay, so
Hi.
how are you?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll start. So I've spent I spent a lot of time on Saturdays sort of investigating, and I looked at the sheet, and I found it really difficult to find the constants on the sheet to 100 digits. So I kept probing and probing, and I actually ended up doing a constant that wasn't on the sheet, but that I found was rather interesting. And it's called a Perry's constant, named after a Frenchman, Roger Appéry, who was born in 1916 and died in 1994. What's really interesting about this constant, they call it the zeta 3 constant. And I find that listening to mathematicians talk about math and formula is like listening to a whole other language. It doesn't even seem like they're talking in English. So I did post a really cool YouTube video from a number file, and he talks about this constant. So basically this constant, he found that the zeta 3 constant was irrational, just like we had pi, phi, and e, and also the square root of 2 that are irrational numbers that go on to infinity, and they never repeat. He found the same thing is true of this particular constant. So what it is if you add, they call it the reciprocals of numbers cubed. So for example, if you do 1 plus 1 over 2 cubed, plus 1 over 3 cubed, plus 1 over 4 cubed, plus 1 over 5 cubed. So you keep doing that, will equal a number that will continue on to infinity. And so the number is, I'm just going to say a few digits, but it's 1.20205690315, and it just goes on to infinity, which I found really interesting. And what's really cool is that Euler tried to solve this mathematical formula, and he wasn't able to. So I thought that was really interesting. So this guy, Roger Appéry, became famous at the end of his career for solving this mathematical formula. And this formula appears in quantum electrodynamics and in the magnetic movement of the electron. And so it's sort of an important number because it has to do with quantum electrodynamics. So it's important in the physics world. And then I took the number, so I recorded all the digits to 100 digits, and I played them on my gong. And I don't know if you want me to share my impressions of how it sounded, but I was going to do a little performance when it's time for us to perform. But I don't know if you want to hear more about my impressions, but basically that's the number. And I really encourage you to listen to the YouTube video, that the number file that I posted, because it explains it a lot better. It's sort of hard to sort of visualize this, but yeah, I just found it really, really interesting that, like people can devote their whole lives to cracking formulas. But anyway, I did play it on the gong, and I thought it sounded really, really nice on the gong. It's a really beautiful progression. Did you want me to not talk about that, or just leave it at the number?
No, it's great. Just we're ruffling your stuff on your computer on the top, so it was hard to hear you because it was the page. What you're saying is fascinating. Okay, so that was just a little bit about the constant number. And this guy actually, he discovered it, I think it was 1977. So it's fairly recently. It wasn't like, a long, long time ago. And he died in 1994. So it's a relatively new constant. And what else? So when I played it on the gong, I thought it sounded really, really nice. I really, really enjoyed it because there's it starts off very slow, and then there's a beautiful build-up in tension because there's a lot of repetition of numbers. So he'll do like 555, 999, 888. And so that builds a beautiful sort of tension. So there's a lot of tension and release in this number sequence, which I really appreciated because I find that's very relaxing when there's a buildup of tension and a release. So I really liked it on the gong. And then I played it on my keyboard, and I'm not a very good piano player. I'm actually very limited. So it sounded almost like someone who's typing with just one finger, when you go, ta, ta, ta. So it wasn't brilliant. So then I got my son to play it for me because I wanted to listen to how it sounded after I wrote all the chords to it.
and I liked it much better. But what I found is that it sounds very, it's a very steady, very heavy kind of rhythm, you know, like it's almost like you're walking through heavy snow. It's not a light and springy sort of number, you know, it's not like happy and springy. It's like very heavy and dense. So that's what I found about it. And I thought I would share something with you guys, because my son, it's always nice to share stuff like this with young people because they're so knowledgeable about all the apps and technology out there. So my son said to me, hey, Mom, why don't you play it on an app called, I'll share that with you guys on our Facebook page. It's called Flat. And so what you can do is if you download this app, and I'll play it for you guys to listen to, you can input all the notes and then you could just play it. And so you can listen to how your number sequence sounds on the keyboard just with this app. So if you guys would like to hear it, I can play it off my phone.
Yeah, what is the app called?
It's called Flat.
What is it called?
FLAT. And it's free. Obviously, like if you buy you can't import anything or export anything unless you buy the app, right? But the free allows you to just play around with stuff. And what's nice is you can attribute like quarter notes or half notes or whole notes to the music. So you could switch up the rhythm. Like I did all of my notes as quarter notes. Just because I just played around with it for a short time. But if you wanted to make it more interesting and melodic, you could make the notes longer, shorter, and vary the rhythm and the tempo, right?
And that, like the Scott did, our Australian participant, you can make the speed based on one of these ratios as well.
Yeah. So if you like, I can play it. Yeah. Tell me how the sound is, because I don't have my Zoom on. I wasn't sure if we were performing today or not, so I didn't do it right yet, but it doesn't take long to set up. Okay, so I'm going to play it. There we go. So I already input all the notes. I did that yesterday, and I don't know if you can see it. So it shows a score.
Mhm.
Now I'm going to play it. So, but you go in like, so I took all my numbers and I put all the notes in yesterday. And so it's already there. And now I'm going to play it. Those are the first couple digits of a Paris constant, yeah. So I thought that was a really nice feature, because then you can listen to it over and over again. But like I said, you could switch it up if you wanted to use quarter notes or half notes or speed it up. So it's a pretty cool app if you have a nice musical background and you can play around with it.
Let's see here. That would be an organ. Play for. So this is cheap, really cheap, but I can do a guitar, I can do a violin, I can do so you can play around a texture, I guess, different texture, different instruments like that as well. Now, I'm good so far with you. I'm keeping up everybody on the same page with her. Now the hard part is that as you play it, do any words come to you while you're playing it?
So what I did for my performance, if you will, is I associated it with the shruti, "No More War." For some reason, that sort of came to mind. You know, it's a very steady, very methodic rhythm. You know, and it's just and it seems to repeat, and it reminded me of that shruti. You know, and so the performance, if you will, that I want to do it with connects. I connected it with the shruti "No More War" because I think it connects really nicely. That's what sort of came to mind as I was playing it. It's just, you know, peace. Let's opt for peace. You know.
Would you do it? Mm-hmm.
What's that? Yeah, I can do it. I can do it.
Yeah.
I don't want to take up. I want, you know, if someone else wants to share about their constant, but I'm ready to go rock and roll.
Okay.
Well, we have time. So if you want to do, it's a 3 to 5 minute composition.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
All
right. All right. I just need a second. Like maybe if someone wants to talk about their number, I just need like 2 minutes to set up my Zoom, just to plug it.
So why don't we go to Morgan, who'll talk about his irrational fraction?
That's great.
Yes, okay. Yeah, I chose the hearty energy constants, and yeah, I translated it into notes, and I played that on the keyboard, and it was actually quite nice. But I was having a hard time transforming it into the 99 digits because I was looking for it on the internet, but I could not find that. So I didn't know how to continue the fraction. So and it's also yeah, math is my biggest allergy. So yeah, I couldn't figure that out. So I only played the 11 numbers which were given, but those were really in a nice flow. It was giving me a very light-hearted feeling, and yeah, I didn't play it too much, and maybe I should have tried longer to feel if there are words coming through. But yeah, so my question is how do you find the other 80 or 79 digits if you don't have them? Because they are not.
Yeah, I had the same problem finding them. I suppose if you've got a really smart computer, you can ask it, you know, to please, where can you find it and see whether they can tell you. It's easy with 5 pi and E because they go on very popular. So you can do that. I was going to say that I know putting words is very difficult to it. There are different clues. Like if you were Sherlock Holmes, you want clues to find out the mystery. So that would be the idea is to put the letters of the alphabet on for each of the numbers, and then perhaps almost conjure up words from that and see if there's any hidden meaning looking at it in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
The other way is to take your diphthongs, all the diphthongs, and sound them on the notes of that particular melody, and just to feel where the sonal ray of your diphthongs go up into the amphitheater of your skull, and how the sonal ray then vibrates different parts of the skull. So there's another window to look into there. So how do you do on that latter part of putting a lyric on?
Yeah, so if I understand correctly, I just have to transform the code into the letters instead of the notes, and then look for words in there. And maybe when I play, I can sing along these words when I play.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Are always remembering that when we are doing these things, we are creating a sonal ray. It's like on a boss gong, the sonal ray can right through the knob in the center. But anywhere on a flat gong, orchestra gong, wherever you hit it, a ray is coming out directly from that spot on the gong. So sometimes we can find a spot that really kind of lends itself to a particular EU or AO or something like that.
Okay, well, I'm gonna give it a try then, with looking for the words and then try to sing it.
You have a lot of bowls too, don't you?
Yeah, I have
Singing bowls.
a lot of balls. Yeah.
Have you tried an octave or of singing bowls and
Yeah,
play
actually,
the?
at some that's funny that you mentioned that. I can show you. In the beginning, I was like really fond of the bigger bowls. And then at once, of course, when you're gonna buy collections from other people, there are mostly a lot of small bowls in between, and you don't really know what to do with it. Doesn't make any sense because a bowl is a bowl and a gong is a gong, of course. But then I started to put them in a chromatic or in a table, and it was like.
It's weird, isn't it? Because of the electronics make the sound fade in and
Oh
out. But
wait, let me just put in the. I put in the other mic. See if this works. Okay, take the microphone. Audio settings. Microphone. No, it's not seeing it now. Why is that? No. Oh, I'm not sure what's. Original sound should be always off, huh? Still. Can you still hear me? Okay. I'll try again, only the other way.
they're called magic bowls because I don't know if you've gone through this process, but I try to set all my bowls up to go from low to high.
Yeah.
I walk out of the room, I come back in, I do it again, and I find out that the bowls somehow are not going up. Da, 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 da. Some of them have changed while I was away. You find that true? And so you're constantly going back and rearranging your bows, trying to get an arpeggio to going up the ladder and down.
Yeah, I find sometimes similar phenomenons that you think, hey, this one is always next to that one, and then at once it isn't, and then you have to change it. I heard very different other particular stories, like amazing stories about what happened with balls. Is that there was this sound healer I met, and he said he went to a guru in the Himalayas, and then he took a ball with him, and then when he left, it was this kind of weight, like 2.5 kilograms. And then after he visited the guru, it was like 1.8 kilograms. So it just diluted weight, and there was like no explanation for that. And I was like, but what about the sound then? Was the sound also different? He said, no, his sound was still the same. But yeah, nobody knows what happens with these magic balls sometimes. And what I experience is that, especially when I buy balls from people who have been working a long time with those balls, there's a lot of dust and dirt on the balls, and they become sometimes very black and dirty.
Hmm.
And yeah, not always. I don't do it with antique balls, but with the more recent balls, I mostly polish them and cleanse them, and then you really experience a big difference in the sound. The sound becomes much clearer and much more stable and more full, and less distortions, and also more overtones, and it is really nice. Of course, it's also nice to get shiny, but it's not the main purpose.
I know, insofar as getting rid of the bad vibes that the bull has from a past experience, a lot of the times they'll take a bull and they'll bury it in the ground for a few days
Yeah.
in order to suck the energy out into the ground and then take it out, clean it. Yeah. All right. So, are you ready to perform?
I'm ready. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, go ahead, Anna.
All right. Um,
Let's mute everyone
Yeah,
else.
mute.
yeah. So I was going to ask you before I start, I'm going to do a little prelude before I play the gong, and I don't want to interrupt. So, but I was going to ask you, while I'm playing the gong, I want you guys to do something, if you will. So you're going to hold your hands in something called Surya Mudra. So it's where you bring the ring finger and the thumb together. And the ring finger is for the sun. And the sun has to do with fire, the fire element. And so because this shruti is about war, I associated fire element, with this particular constant, with this shruti. So, and what you're going to be doing, as I'm playing the gong, is you're going to be just making 2 circles like this, and your thumbs will graze, and you're going to do it in front of your heart. And the reason we're doing circles is because circle of life, right? And 2 circles together create the symbol for infinity. So I thought it was a very nice, beautiful sort of hand mudra. So you can do this while I'm playing the gong. And if you like, I encourage you to use the mantra, I am free. As I'm playing the gong, you can do this and chant either mentally or out loud, I am free, I am free. And so you can do this when I go and play the gong. But before that, I'm going to start my introduction. So this will be the official start. And at the end, I will just do the tingsha bells. That'll be the official end. Okay. Here we go. What are we waiting for? No more war. What are we waiting for? No more war. How long will it take to put an end to war? What are we waiting for? How many hands? How many arms? How many worlds are we holding on to? And how long will it take? How long will it take to put an end to war? No more war. No more war. No more war. What are we waiting? What are we waiting for? Let's put an end to war. Let's say once and for all, no more war.
Woo! Oh, that was so beautiful. Thank you. Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. We're ready for Broadway. Anybody want to comment on it? You put everything in so beautifully.
Well, thank you, Don. That means a lot. You are my inspiration. You're so theatrical and talented and creative. So thank you.
Thank you. What do you think?
Morgan's raising his hand.
Marvin? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, I would always do a standing ovation, but then you wouldn't see half of me anymore. But yeah, it was wonderful. I really loved the way you progressed with your voice. It's such more soft and gentle. And yeah, it is nice how you make also these breaks in between, like leaving the silence sacred. And of course, it was really funny when you used the attributes and yeah, with such determination, you like threw that sword down. Like it was like, be careful, don't break your son's stuff. I mean, yeah, it was funny. It was funny, but also very serious as well at the same time. And yeah, I like that contradiction. And yeah, I especially really was touched by using the mudra with I am free, and I started to chant I am free, and I was like getting rid of a lot of stuff, you know. I was like, oh wow, I can do this, I can release that, I can be free to release and to be who I want to be. So that's really transformative. I think it's a nice one. Maybe we can put it into the mem yoga sequence because a lot of muscles at the same time are active. The shoulders, the chest.
Yeah. I was definitely inspired by MEM yoga. And I really think that I'm a big fan of sound, obviously, and mantra. I think mantra is so great to sort of just cut through all the mental stuff that happens in here. You know, if we just replace it with a beautiful mantra and something simple like I am free, you know, I'm lovable, I'm kind. It's just a great way to just cut through all that mental, I want to say BS, right? And I was inspired by the MEM yoga, right? Because that's what Don, you know, wants us to do, give people a, you know, a sentence to repeat. And so I think it's a beautiful technique. Yeah.
Was that a water pistol?
What kind of gun was it? Was it a water pistol? Don wants to know.
No, it's not a water pistol. It's my son's. I did borrow my son's. The sword and the shield are mine. I used to teach grade 4, and in Canada the curriculum is medieval times, and so I have all sorts of stuff to do with medieval times. So I went and found that. But the gun is my son's.
It's a real gun, huh?
No,
Oh,
it's not.
it's imitation.
It looks very real though, but
Yeah, it looks
it's
really
for
real.
video games. And actually, he gave me something, but he couldn't get it to work because he had to leave to go to work. But apparently, you could shoot it, and it makes a very loud sound. But I was gonna do that, but we couldn't get
Let's
it
hear
to
it.
work. So no, he couldn't get it to work. But it looks very real, eh? I remember seeing
Yeah,
it in his room. I was dusting, and I'm like, oh my god,
Scary.
scary, yeah. It looks so real, but it's not. It's for video games. Thank God.
it was good enough.
Yeah. It was really fun to
Renarda?
put it together. I don't know how it looked, but I'm curious to watch the replay for sure.
I like your intonation. No more war. No more war. And it was a nice choice of instrument and sword, huh? There was sword. I would like to share, if I may now. So today I get my new mic. I promise tell something about. It's uh, as you know, last time I I haven't good sound from my gong, you know, and I research. My friend who lives in India now spent 1 hour and a little more today make sound good. So when you use this mic here, probably, and you are going in front of gong with this mic, every sound which you have will be better in the Zoom, and it's nice thing. It's not heavy. It's just this and this. So if you want, I will put it in our chat and
Is
try.
is that is it attached to a battery pack or is it plugged into your?
Battery is here, but when you put this in your computer, you don't need battery, but it doesn't matter.
So are you going to play the gong for us so we can see?
Yeah, demonstrate, please.
I can demonstrate, but for performance, it's just new baby. I should little practice.
Yes. And you don't have to perform. We just are curious about the sound.
Yeah. And it was after my job, and I am tired, and I admit I wasn't sure for today's meeting because of time in our schedule. So now I will try. And when I play gong, so fine. When I play gong, I can't hear you. And I will not play too long, and you can give me information.
Okay, so we're all going to mute so that we'll get the best sound.
Mhm. It should be in my pocket. And now
Bernarda, that was a lot. That was so much better sound wise.
yes, so
Really
much
good.
better than last time. And you have this mic with you, and he will receive sound of gong, and the sound will be better in performance. And thank you. Yeah.
I like your
So,
T-shirt. You've got an interesting T-shirt on. I've never seen one like that.
this is the
Let it
story
go.
with my
Oh,
with
Like
my
that.
t-shirts. It is from Greek, from my colleague
ah,
like a
beautiful.
present, and it is Pythagora. You know, he is from Samos. It's not striptease. but it is statue or Pythagoras. And he's from island Samos.
Nice.
Thank you, Babadon. And my irrational constant is mass of electron. This number starts with 9, and I like it. There is 9 digits. I play in gong. I play in my accordion too. And I a little change rhythm. It's not this time whole notes. It's a little bit different. And when I use accordion, it isn't so practical like your keyboard, Babadon. Your keyboard is much elegant than my accordion is heavy. Yeah. And you can use libretto, maybe one mantra. Om Shanti Om, Om Shanti Om. I can sing that so it's mass of electron. Electron is teeny, but you can divide electron. We say in Europe word devil become from Greek diabolo, mean divide. Diabolo is divide people and rules, you know. And you can't divide electron. It's teeny, but it's tough. So electron going around very fast around the nucleus, and he's all the time around nucleus, and you never know where is he. It's like omnipresence everywhere in same time, almost like that in our physical words. Yeah, and it's for now my researching about mass of electron and how I can say now in my English. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morgan?
Yeah, it was a wonderful demonstration, Bernarda. I really liked that mic because it's a pocket mic. You can put it in your pants, and you don't have a wire, and yeah, it makes you more free, and also it's very good because if you use a lot of different instruments, which you always put in different places in the space because you cannot put them all in the same space, and you have this mic with you, and you always have the sound with you, and you don't need so many microphones and adjustments and stuff. So that, yeah, it's actually really a good thing. Thank you for that, and please put
Yeah,
the
it's
description of the brand on the Facebook page so we can all see if we want to invest in such a mic, because it's really handy. And I loved your t-shirt move. Made me laugh.
But I must to say, I didn't know how to use it. I had help from men which know about.
Well, that's totally fine. Help comes from all different sizes, and it's also very good that you asked for help.
Mhm.
Yeah, the sound was really good, Bernardo. It's very clear. It's very nice and clear, the sound of your gong. Not sure if you can hear me.
Yeah.
It sounded great this time. It was nice to be able to hear you play.
I can't hear you enough good.
Oh.
Sorry.
Can anybody else
She
hear me?
stated it, we can hear you. It just, I think, yeah, a little bit louder. But we heard you. Yeah, she enjoyed the sound as well. All right, we have 15 minutes left on.
Anybody more to perform?
Anyone else want to perform or share about their electron? Oh, excuse me, not electrons. Share about their irrational fraction. Sorry. I want to talk about my electron right now. My
I saw that you did a recording.
Yeah, it's just box for.
Oh, that was from last year, my first attempt before we got all the worksheets down. It popped back up on Facebook. Yeah, that was like the first attempt at playing the numbers when we were still writing them out by hand.
That's good.
All right, I have a question. Your name. When I was a young boy, my name was Donald Jean. My sister was Betty Jane, and we said Donald Jean, Betty Jean. So Donald Jean, if I put that to music today, knowing what we do know about that, what would the melody be of my name if I was called Donald Jean? And then later on, when I became an actor, I became Don Conreaux. What would my melody be? What would my name if I would sing my name according to the melody? So it might be good to think about that for your assignment as well, to explore and see what you come up with. And you could change your name to whatever you might say. Well, my melody, I wanted to be different, so I could change my name. You can do what you like.
I think that's interesting, especially if you have a spiritual name given to you, or you take on a spiritual name, or if you get married and you change your last name.
Oh my God, my name. The longest my name was ever Mukhya Singh Sahib Guru Jagat Singh Conreaux Khalsa. Now, if you made that into a symphony, I suppose it would sound interesting. So you can, but now I'm just Don. So that's to explore. You can share next time if you find what that'll be. And the other one, which we would like to hear, is what if you overtoned that melody of your name? And to begin to put on the diphthongs together like that. So going into that direction as well. The other direction we want to go now as well is that rather than doing a hand melody gong pantomime here like this, I'm going to put everything in. I'm going to do all my Tai Chi Gong, Qigong moves. So as I'm playing the gong, my entire body is like a kundalini, like a snake. I'm moving in the space like that as I play. Oh, now that's asking a lot, but we could go there, couldn't we? Do we have enough assignments now?
I think you just threw in an extra 3. Yeah, those are pretty good as well.
All right.
So let's wait. I know that we're meeting again next Tuesday on February 15th. That seems to be the last of the series, but we'd love to see either posted on Facebook or come prepared to do a composition. And maybe this time you are playing your name or various formations of your name. There's a lot of different, we don't want to limit you, but focus in on one area that kind of sparks your passion, and let's go with that one.
And if you want to be nationalistic, you could write, for instance, you could put Croatia, or whatever the country you're in from. Turn everything into music. Yeah.
So let me rehearse the homework is translate your name into melody. That's one. And what were the other two?
I wrote it in the chat box. So
Okay,
you are going to take your name, translate into melody, and the various forms of your name throughout your life, nicknames, etc.
Yeah.
And then you are going to use overtoning with that melody.
Yeah.
And then you're going to, when you play on the gong, you're going to incorporate more of a dance style movement of the whole body, turning your body into a visual performance piece as well.
Yes.
And you know we're going to end up with a great gong concert with all these advanced player gong dancer singer. Woo-hoo. It's going to be a spectacle. And so we're going to look forward to that. Usually when we do our gong concerts, people come in, right? And everybody turns their back to the audience and they gong, and just like they would at home. But now we're going to like transform it into Broadway. Yeah. See,
Can we add an extra edition for only for the concert? And because next week I'm probably away, and otherwise I will miss the whole concert thing.
So we're definitely going to record them, of course. And also, we did have a little bit of a change in schedule, so we can conceivably add on another session after the Tuesday session. Yeah,
So,
we can
so
have a wrap
maybe
up.
maybe we can do the Gong Theater session last, like we did last
Great.
year with
Yeah.
like a big celebration.
Okay.
That's doable.
All right. Yeah.
Okay,
And
so
then
it's
the-
just a question of figuring out the day. Potentially we could do Thursday instead of Tuesday, if that works out better for you guys. Does it?
No, that's
Can we raise a hand? Oh, not, that one doesn't work?
no. I'd rather have it the week after that, in the 7th week from the from the 21, some of the 22 maybe, or is that possible?
You know
for
what?
you?
We'll stick with the one we have right now,
Okay.
and we'll go from there. So that way, we can continue to use the Facebook page. Yeah, but now it's getting a little too confusing. We'll stick to our schedule.
Okay.
Next week is the last week. However, we can definitely look and see how we want to progress further. And yeah, so.
Well, the progression of it is that you've got to pass it on. If there's an old saying, if you can't pay it off, pass it on. That was back the day. So, but it holds true. So you need to find a poor soul that doesn't know that they need to learn this and teach it to them. Yes.
Can I ask a question? Do you mind? I was just
Yeah.
wondering, so Don had said somewhere that he wanted us to share all this information, compile it. So how do you want us, I emailed you what I found so far, but is that how you want to receive the information in an email, or how do you want us to share like our findings about our irrational constants? Or do you want to share on the Facebook page?
I think maybe what we should do is start a Google Doc, a shared Google Doc, and then that way we can get it all on the same font and the same kind of everything. So does anyone know how to do a shared Google Doc? No?
I think
I'll see if I can figure it out. Bernardo, you know how?
I think we should get the address Google, and then we can put someone should put us in Google Doc. Yeah. And
Okay,
and
I'll figure out how to do that right now, and I'll place it. Okay.
Can we get video tomorrow? Because I should listen one more time.
I'm going to be putting it up within the next hour or two. Okay.
Aha. Woohoo!
Right.
Just say one
Fantastic.
thing about the numbers.
Yeah.
Because Morgan asked this. So that's why I spent so much time looking for the different numbers. I don't think you can actually calculate it like yourself. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're a brilliant mathematician, your best hope is to be able to see, like, that's what I was able to find, that some other mathematicians had spent time calculating these digits to X number of digits or places, right? And so it's almost like finding a needle in a haystack. You know, if you happen to get really lucky, like I went with Apéry's constant only because I was like, I found a document that listed all the digits to 2,000 digits, and I'm like, score, right? And so I decided to go with it. So it's not something you can calculate unless you also happen to be not just a brilliant gong player, but a brilliant mathematician.
Yeah, I almost wonder if it's one of those things where you have to get on like some mathematician group site and be like, hey, yo, anyone can tell me what these are, you know?
Yeah, I
Because
think so, because there's definitely, like, I think maybe people who publish thesis, right? Mathematicians who publish different theses, they probably have calculated these different constants to different place values, right? Like I was able to find one on Apéry's constant. It was part of somebody's thesis. So I was like, yay. So they're not easy to find, but they're definitely very interesting. Yeah.
All right, so I guess, yes.
I need to say bye-bye because I need a toilet break and have another meeting. So, Satnam.
it's all good. Our time is up. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.
I'll send out the email shortly. Take care.
Thank you. Good work.
Satnam.
Satnam.
Thank you.